What's going on, guys? Today's video, I wanted to officially do a rollout of the 4 event types that we're going to be doing inside of the program of New City Mastery. So the official rollout, I wanted to make sure I made perfectly clear so that everybody can begin the process of actually implementing one of these 4 event types, which these are going to be the cornerstone of the New City Mastery program. So where it all starts off with, once you finally have gone through the process of upgrading your Instagram, upgrading your image and your social skills, and getting some of that mindset work done, is going to be to actually go ahead and implement the triple win framework. So these 4 event types are going to be your vehicle for the triple win framework. If you're not doing one of these 4 event types, then you're not doing the program. So let's get into it and discuss what the 4 event types are looking like. So we boiled it down to one of 4 categories. All right. So you guys are going to be either running number 1, the pregame, number 2, the group dinner, number 3, the night out, or number 4, the private party. So let's go into the details and discuss some examples as well as some how-to on the implementation of each. So first and foremost is going to be the pregame. All right, so let's just talk about a pregame real quick. I think we all understand and have a pretty good idea of what that actually is. So obviously you're going to want to have some type of venue that you can use to get people together. Typically, this is going to preclude one of the other event types, which I'll get into stacking event types in a second here. But let's talk about what makes a good pregame and how to do it. All right. So the first thing that you've got to understand if you're going to organize or host a pregame is going to be the distance from the final destination. So that's going to be what matters the absolute most, because if it's super far away, it's going to be a really tough sell to get people enticed to go. So ideally, your pregame is going to be set up within walking distance or a quick 5-minute Uber from your final location. So the second thing that I want to mention is the actual pregame venue itself. Some of you guys have your own apartments, but others are going to have to network their way into figuring out, who's got the location closest to your final destination. So when it comes to the actual venue, ideally it's going to have a nice space or a good view, one of those two things. So it's either got fancy furniture, or it's actually got some type of appealing interior design, or it's going to have like a good view, right? So we want to use actual photos of the pregame as a part of the invitation, because one of the common phrases is going to be more evidence, fewer words. So we're going to abide by that as well. So again, keep in mind that the most important thing is going to be distance. The second most important thing is going to be the venue itself, being either a nice apartment or a nice space, or it has some type of compensating factor, things like a nice view. So again, this could be at your place. It could be at somebody else's place. The most important thing here is that you're the one doing the organizing. You're the one that's doing the inviting. All right. Second event type is going to be the group dinner. All right. So ideally, this is going to be a decent sit down restaurant. Now, it doesn't have to be some 5-star Michelin star type of facility, but it's also not going to work if you're trying to get people together at the local Taco Bell. Right. So what you're going to want to do is identify a nice dinner spot. And again, this might stack with a night out. So the closer to your hot spots all of this is, the better. So what you're going to do for this is, typically what I've done in the past is just figure out which venue location you want to use, and then make reservations a week ahead of time for about a 10-person table. So what you can do is you can actually use the confirmation and use that as part of your invitation. So we're implementing some more visual evidence, visual proof that the event is happening. Now, the best part about hosting a group dinner, guys, is that you're able to just simply cancel the event and cancel the reservations with no consequence if your plans fall apart. So it doesn't ever harm to make dinner reservations for a 10 top, send that out to your list of people, offering them value. That's still going to unlock the law of reciprocity. But if nobody can end up making it, then you just go ahead and cancel the reservation. There's no consequence there. And then additionally, this isn't going to cost you any extra money, because once everybody is finished eating and they've wrapped up, got their bill, maybe some people have had some drinks, everybody's just going to pay separately. So I would definitely highly recommend group dinners for people that are beginners, because this doesn't require you to have anybody else's resources. So this is something that you can set up as soon as this weekend. All right, now the third event type is going to be the night out. So basically, all we're doing here is we're going to gather people together at the local hotspot. So, one piece of advice that I do have, if you're going to have a bunch of people that you've met meeting you out for a night out at a local place that's a fun environment, is try to get there a little bit early so that you can take over some space. You can kind of claim some real estate and begin to have an area where you can begin to develop kind of this like huddle of people that you've invited and gotten out, so that you're able to make sure that you have at least a little section or a little area to yourselves where you guys are able to congregate, right? So advanced players, the really advanced players, ideally, when you're planning a night out, are going to actually be reserving a table or a bottle service booth. So this would be at things like a nightclub. And what's going to have to happen with that is you just make sure that everybody chips in on the table itself. So all of the guys, right? So that's playing at a more advanced level. And again, we can start to stack these different event types. You could do a night out without doing a pregame or a dinner, but you could even do a pregame and then a dinner that's followed by a night out. But again, we're going to just get you guys picking one of these four. And then the final one is going to be the private party. So this one is a little bit more difficult because it is going to require exclusive access. It's going to require you to have access to some type of venue or some type of resource. So a good example of this would be either somebody's penthouse, either somebody's property, maybe it's somebody that has a boat, or maybe somebody that has a pool. So this could be a resource that you control yourself, but if you don't have that, it's probably going to require you to host a few different group dinners or maybe a couple of pre-games before you meet the right person that you can team up with, that has access to the type of resource that you need to throw a private party. So this is going to be an invite only affair, making it a more exclusive invitation. So it's more valuable, but the more value it has, it's going to be tied to more effort, right? So those are going to be the four event types. Now, what you guys are going to do is you're going to need to stack a justification lever. So always aim to layer on an extra level of justification to the event to elicit either FOMO or guilt. So let's go into the examples of the four different justification levers that we're going to be using. So number one is going to be somebody else's life event. Remember, you never want to be making it about you, right? So if it's somebody else's birthday, or if it's somebody else's going away party, or if somebody else recently closed a deal or got a promotion, it's on you to set up one of the four event types for that person, which they'll appreciate. But when you're sending out the invitation to other people, it's going to elicit a little bit of guilt. Because again, if you're throwing a pregame or a group dinner for somebody's birthday, what that's going to mean is that anybody that says no is also just kind of a little bit of an asshole, right? So that's the idea behind justification lever number one. Now, justification lever number two is going to be a holiday. So I love using this one. The reason why is because there's basically a holiday that comes up every single month. So I was just talking to one of the members and we discussed how we're going to be creating a night out event type for St. Patrick's Day coming up next month. So you've got St. Patrick's Day, you've got, first day of spring, first day of summer, you got, 4th of July, all kinds of different excuses. So whenever you're having a holiday party, this is going to layer in a little bit of extra FOMO. All right. So make sure to leverage holidays. Now, number three, the third justification lever is going to be a recent opening. So something that you might find is that in your city, when a new place opens up, it's easy to plan a night out at a place like that, because that's going to give a little bit of an extra justification for you putting it together. It's going to elicit a little bit of FOMO if your invitation sounds something like, hey, We're getting a bunch of people together at that new spot that just opened up. We're all going to go check it out. It's going to be a good time. So using recent openings or grand openings is going to be the third justification lever. Now, the fourth one is going to be implementing a theme. Okay. So you can do all kinds of different themes. You could do a jungle party. You could do an all white party. You could do, I've done a sexy nerd party. I've done a red flag party. I mean, you could just punch it into Chat GBT, right? And just come up with like hundreds of ideas for different themes. So one thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is you need to pick one event type and you need to pick one justification lever. Now, don't forget to be creating an IG group chat for all of your attendees, and make sure that you're capturing a group photo or a group video to post for visual evidence and to also tag for reposts. So you're able to stack some of these different things together. Now, in the beginning, I recommend just keeping it simple. Pick one event type, pick one justification. But if you want to try to get a little bit more advanced, what you can do is you can have a pre-game for a night out and then an after party as a private event, right? So focus on being the planner and utilize other people's resources as your social circle grows. This is how we're going to be able to network with people, team up with people, and start to bring value and offer value to other people, which is going to be extremely powerful. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that this is helpful, and I can't wait to see each one of you pick one event type and pick one justification lever and start seeing what we can make happen here. So hit me up in the Discord, come up with some plans together if you need to send me a DM, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Peace.